Mr. Chairman, dear friends, I have been asked by the organizers of this workshop to say some words about how I remember Gustav Elfving. I have chosen to do this by making a comparison between him and Leo Törnqvist. I think it's generally agreed here in Finland that during the 50s and 60s, Gustav Elfving and Leo Törnqvist were the only internationally known Finnish statisticians, and that might be true even for a long period of the 70s. I myself is more a student of Leo Törnqvist, but I attended Gustav's lecture and I have many discussions with him also, even after his retirement at the Societas Kiltiarum Fennicas meetings. I am going to make this comparison in two parts. First, some comments about the outer characteristics of their careers. Here comes out many other facts that Timo Mäkeläinen already mentioned, but it might be of interest to make some comparisons between Elfving's and Törnqvist's careers as they showed up in their curriculum vitae. Much is very alike, but there are also some significant differences. Elfving was 3 years older almost than Leo Törnqvist, and this time difference was constant almost during their whole careers. Elfving made his PhD 3 years earlier than Törnqvist, both write their thesis in mathematics. Elfving became professor almost 3 years earlier than Törnqvist, and retired also 3 years earlier than Törnqvist. Both of them visited the United States, and I think their most fruitful working period was when they were visiting the States. But there are also some very, I think, important differences. As also Timo already mentioned, Elfving's career was totally academic. He was born in an academic family. His father was a professor, and he spent his whole working period in the academic milieu. Leo Törnqvist's background was non-academic. He spent his childhood in a small village in the southern part of Ostrobothnia. His father was a master builder, and he has no contacts with an academic milieu during his youth. Another difference is that he also worked outside the universities. He was for a time working as traffic inspector at the state railways, and for many years he was the head of the Institute of Business Economics at the National Board for Post and Telegraph. But anyhow, the main expression is that the careers of these two most known Finnish statisticians are very much alike. The other part of my comparison consists of a more subjective review of their approaches to scientific research. To everyone who had to work with both of them, it was obvious that they were very different persons, and that their approaches to research work was also very different. And when Erkki Liski called me and asked if I would come here and talk about Gustav, I started thinking of what was really the difference. What came first to my mind, and here is the results of these small personal reflections. I have used here as illustrations quotations from the festskrift for Herman Wolm that also Timo Mäkeläinen here mentioned. It was a very special festskrift because the authors had to tell about themselves, how they worked, what they wanted to do with their work, and what were their working methods and so on. And in that respect, it's a very good reference when one tries to make comparison between, for instance, also Gustav and Leo. Well, the research, I have divided the comparisons in three parts: research approach, research strategy, and work routines. It's obvious that Elfving's approach was very problem-oriented. He didn't bother much about what might be the practical value of the research he was doing. As Timo already mentioned, he says that he has very little belief in the importance of his research work. While on the other side, Törnqvist, when commenting on his main interest, which was decision theory, says that he has a deep interest in the well-being of mankind as a whole, and he sees his research work as a part of, as in some respect, contributing to this well-being. And he also had a more practical approach. He also wanted to make conclusions from research results to the practical implications, while at least in Elfving's works it's difficult to find any concrete advice how these results should be used in practical situations. About the research strategy, Elfving said once to me that he believes in small steps. He believes that the best way to do scientific research is to try to define very small problems and try to solve these problems one by one. In Elfving's instance, one can afterwards say that these small problems was not always so small, but the idea was that the first step was always to define the problem in such term using traditional mathematical problem formulation and in such a way that it was solvable. While Törnqvist started from a more explorative fashion, for him nothing was given, not either the mathematics was given. If not the mathematics was enough, he invented his own mathematics. In the work routines, there were also very big differences. As we see from the list of publications by Elfving, he has almost no joint publications. He says himself that he works best alone. He had no experience of joint research and teamwork. And he also worked in a very orderly fashion. He had his working periods when he started in the morning and worked to the late evening. And as also mentioned here by Timo, he says in this festskrift that his main motive for working is his sense of duty. It is his duty to work in this way. While on the other side, Törnqvist, as everyone who have met him knows, was very irrational in his working habits. He worked when he wanted, and well, that might be daytime and that might be Sunday, so that might be night time. And he also liked to have research assistants around him. He liked to give ideas, and he liked to see that other people cut up his idea and worked with them. And he also used a lot of help when preparing his own publication. So in this respect, we have to do with two very different personalities. And I think it was a great fortune for the small Finnish statistics community to have two such different leading personalities, because we have at least we have at least the possibility to choose between two completely different ways to learn statistics and to approach statistical problems.
Thank you.